Hello and welcome everyone to the February 26th regular Town Council meeting of the Town of Vegreville. I call the meeting to order at 7:01. I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next up, motion to approve the minutes of our last regular Town Council meeting. Councillor Barry was first. Any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. So we have a supplemental we're going to start with, and CAO Ling, if you'll take that one.
All right. It's a letter, support Vegreville inclusion in rural renewal program. Dear Tim, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Yulia Kaluska, and I am writing on behalf of the Ukrainian newcomers in Vegreville. We have been fortunate to call Vegreville our temporary home, thanks to the opportunities that you have provided us. We would like to inform you about the struggles we are currently facing. The Alberta Opportunity Stream, the main program we all intended to apply for, has been paused. We do not know when it will be resumed or what changes may be implemented. There is another permanent residency program, the rural renewal. However, Vegreville is not included. We would greatly appreciate your involvement in including Vegreville in this program. Many of us have open work permits that are due to expire within the next year. If we cannot apply for PR, we would have to leave Canada. We are not sure if we would be safe in Ukraine. We are proud to call Vegreville our home and hope to stay here in this peaceful, wonderful community. In light of this, we humbly request your support and advocacy for including Vegreville in the Rural Renewal Program. This inclusion would not only provide a pathway for us to apply for permanent residency, but also enrich Vegreville with a committed and diverse workforce eager to contribute to the town's prosperity. We believe that with your assistance, we can work towards a solution that benefits both our community and Vegreville. Your support in this matter would be invaluable to us and a testament to Vegreville's welcoming and inclusive spirit. We understand that this action requires additional time and effort. However, we would be endlessly grateful for your support. Please let us know if we can assist in this process. Would it be possible to arrange a meeting to discuss it further? Thank you for considering our request. We look forward to the possibility of making Vegreville our permanent home and contributing to its vibrant community for years to come. Please let us know how we might proceed or if there's any documents or further information that you require from us. Warm regards.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a motion to receive and file on this letter to start. Councillor Lemko, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, so Yulia, thank you very much for the letter, and we would really like for you to make Vegreville your permanent home. And we find ourselves being a very welcoming and inclusive community here. But when we look at this program, the Rural Renewal Program, it is not the right program for what they're trying to accomplish. So we've brought in an expert tonight and on this immigration file. So we're going to turn it over to Councillor Warwa.
Well, thank you, Worship. I won't say I'm an expert, but I would like to be able to share a little bit of information on the federal side of this. I believe that this program was set out with very good intention. Of course, it is a little bit confusing, though, because people feel that this provincial program is your route to PR. It has some aspects of PR, but one side is provincial and one side is federal, but you can't not do the federal step, regardless of what you do provincially or how you enter the federal stream. And I'm bringing this forward because we do work with these programs all the time on the PR side. And just to kind of provide a little bit of clarity, just looking in the email, I can absolutely understand where there's some concern because people came in, particularly on the QIT visas where they received an open work permit, and now they're looking at it thinking if one of these streams is not open, it's closing their ability to then go into the PR stream. So that's not actually accurate. So I would say the first thing is I know that we've seen this on the federal level, and we have reached out to Yulia just today And we would invite anybody that has more questions or concerns to please contact the MP's office. We're more than willing to go over all of it with them. But the important thing to know is that regardless of these provincial streams, you still have to apply under the federal permanent residency stream. This does not expedite it in any way. The application time for actual PR remains exactly the same on the federal side. So just to kind of give a little bit more information on this, somebody that might have an open work permit right now, it would absolutely be a concern if they think that their way to become a PR has closed down and that they might not be able to step forward. But because they have an open work permit, they're gaining time as a Canadian experienced class worker. Once they have that year's experience, they are able to actually apply still under the express entry, just like they would if they started off. So the express entry has 3 streams. It has the Canadian experience class, the federal trades, and then the federal work stream. Within those 3 streams, they have a very convoluted point system, which I don't need to get into all of it with everybody, but there's different ways to gain points, and some of gaining points is if you have a provincial nominee program. So that isn't to say that somebody who has some form of provincial nominee, and that can be a multitude of different kinds, can't gain some points, but I want them to know that regardless of what the province decides to do, because this is a provincial program, it is set up on the provincial side, it doesn't actually stop their ability to work forward and work towards a PR. And we would say probably the very best is us working with them directly, because then we could actually look at their specific case and give them some options. Their open work permits can be extended as well. So when your work permit ends, that you're open, it does not automatically mean you have to leave, because there's a difference between your temporary residence and then an application to become a permanent resident. So I would really, really strongly encourage them to continue to reach out on the federal side. I know that on the provincial side, we have said we wanted to assist in any way we can, but I just really want them to know that they aren't automatically losing out or not able to go with PR. On this program, part of the problem that does happen is the rural stream. There has always been various forms for a number of years of nominee programs on the provincial side. But what they were looking at is specific ways, because the province used to identify certain jobs that we were maybe short of. This was an ability to help try and drag not somebody just to Alberta, but trying to drag them into rural locations. That was the intention of the program, and it was an intention of the program to work. And then this program is actually set up as a workers program. And part of the workers program was that you have the status of a nominee that could also be used when applying on your federal side. This on its own, any of these programs, both the one she mentions earlier as well as the rural stream, neither one of those alone are a PR. If you just went into the stream, you would have nothing more than a work permit. You still always have to go into this federal side, which is why we'd really encourage them to come forward with us. The other thing is we don't know what will exactly happen on the program provincially, because somewhat the program is not quite meeting the way it was set up. It really was set up for a way for some communities to be able to bring people in that were very short of workers. But in this case, a lot of the people that would be identified here, as they said in their letter, they have open work permits. They aren't in a position of not being able to go and work into a job. That's why, and I'm not suggesting that if they were, for some reason, that they were in a community, had this, that some of this can't work in their points for express entry, but it actually isn't the point of the program. The other thing with the program is the way it's set up. Your town is really only supposed to be a support to a group that is taking it on. That economic group is the one that is supposed to look as a community group and help identify individual businesses and identify a minimum of 1, preferably 2 or more businesses that are now in this. And then they make an application, and your town would be a letter of support just on the side of saying, yeah, we support that we have some other services to help welcome and resettle. But right now, as it stands, I just want them to know that I know the town is committed, and I can tell you on the federal level, we're very committed to working with them to see what streams would be available. So I don't want to get too convoluted into it, but I just kind of did want to go on the spot that, this necessarily, even this designation is not PR. It has nothing to do with PR. So please reach out, and we're, like I say, we're willing to come in and actually bring them all the information on the two programs, a little bit provincially, just because we can access it as well, but the whole gamut of the federal, as well as anybody who is currently a worker and wants to know about how to enter the express entry system. And there is an entire criteria with how many points, because how it works in the express is they come up with numbers and they don't invite you if they ended for some reason. I'm making this number up at the number 500. When they open it again, they don't go to 499. They go again to the very top. So a certain number does not guarantee you entry. So we're happy to work with them on a federal level, look at what their numbers would be. And truthfully, while there is a large group, it is super important. Each one has to be looked at on its own merit, even more so than a whole group, because different factors will impact them over and above even the open work permits. That number criteria has everything from age points that are allotted for age, previous education, previous work experience, as well as provincial nominees, work permit currently, job offers. So those are things that if we were working with them one-on-one, we could help them know exactly what the point system is and break it down for them, and then they would know where they're at. And then there may be a case in the future where if they saw a number of people not able to meet those criteria for certain reasons, that then there might be a decision to go after a different level of advocacy. But the real first step should be to find out where they are. So hopefully that gives a little bit of an overview. It is quite a confusing program, though, if you look online, in fairness, and I would say the only reason that I have as much experience as I have is our office has worked with this specifically for over 6 years under the express entry. So is that kind of what you wanted to know, Your Worship?
Well, I think you explained that well.
Okay.
No matter what, municipalities don't have the power to grant permanent residence.
No.
And neither does the province.
No.
Only the feds do. So when it comes to the rural renewal program, we took a look at it for bringing in some workers, and we've talked to other municipalities, and that program is to bring somebody that's not in the country already here. It's just too much to manage for a municipality our size. So, and no matter what we do, I mean, we're upset the Alberta Opportunity Stream has been put on pause, but no matter what, even if you're coming through on that stream, on that class, you still need, for permanent residence, it's the federal government that gives those things. So there's, the province doesn't have that. So no matter what we look at, and we're willing to try to help people as much as we can, but what we found by talking to other municipalities that have stuck their toe into this rural renewal program a little bit, it's a bit of a nightmare, and it ends up that the municipality is deciding who's going to be a good employer and who isn't, and liability now falls to us. So Yulia, I hope that you'll reach out to the MLA Stubbs' office and for a little bit more explanation. But again, moving forward, if there's anything that we can do, we would do it. But we all know that it's the federal government that is in charge of permanent residence. So is there any other comments on this? Councillor Lemke, have you been hearing anything from within the Vegreville Stands with Ukraine?
Yeah, it's like Yulia's letter. A lot of the concerns there are the fact that there's no, to them, there's no availability to assist with PR. And the challenge with that is this explains everything in a better sense and maybe puts some of the minds at ease on that process. And I think out there was the fact that a lot of unanswered questions about the program itself, being, well, we do this, we can get this, we can do this, we can get this. And Councillor Rao's excellent explanation on the program itself will probably put some minds at ease, and I'll carry that forward, and I'm sure you'll hear from that group itself.
We'll work one-on-one with them. That's no problem.
That's good. Thank you for that explanation.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, thank you. The next piece of correspondence we have is from the Honorable Ed Stelmach, Board Chair of Covenant Health. Your Worship McPhee, I am pleased to share with you that Covenant Health has been recognized as one of Alberta's top 80 employers for 2024. I am proud to have received this recognition for the 10th time. We are exceedingly grateful for the many partnerships that have continued to help us navigate through challenges we have faced. The Alberta Top 80 Employers Award recognizes organizations that are leading employers in the province. We are proud to be an employer of choice in Vegreville, providing a positive workplace for our teams and compassionate care for our patients, residents, and families. Whether rural or urban, this honor belongs to the staff, physicians, and volunteers at St. Joseph's General Hospital and across Covenant Health, who work every day to create vibrant communities of health and healing. Thank you for supporting their team work and the Covenant Health. We look forward to working together in 2024 and engaging with your community for generations to come. Please join us in congratulating our Covenant Health teams. God bless. Honorable Ed Stelmach. Take a motion to receive and file. Councilor Rudick, any comments? Well, that's 10 years in a row that they've been put on that list, and we'd just like to congratulate Covenant Health and the team here at St. Joseph's General Hospital for doing a really bang-up job down there. So, all those in favor? Carried. Next up in correspondence is a letter from Minister Rick McIver, Alberta Municipal Affairs. Dear Mayor McPhee, through the Alberta Community Partnership, the ACP program, the Government of Alberta encourages strengthening relationships between municipalities and cooperative approach to service delivery. By working in partnership with our neighbors, we create opportunities that support economic development and job creation. Together, we can help build vibrant, resilient communities for the benefit of every Albertan. I am pleased to inform you the town of Vegreville has been approved for a grant of $200,000 under the IC Intermunicipal Collaboration component of the 2023-24 ACP in support of your regional recreation feasibility study project. This approval does not signify broader provincial support for any recommendations or outcome that might result from your project. The conditional grant agreement will be sent shortly out to your CAO to obtain the appropriate signatures. The Government of Alberta looks forward to celebrating your ACP funding project with you and your municipal partnership. I encourage you to send invitations for these milestone events to my office. We ask that you advise Municipal Affairs a minimum of 15 working days prior to the proposed event. If you would like to discuss possible activities or events to recognize your ACP achievements, please contact a grant advisor at this number. I congratulate the partnership on initiating this project, and I wish you every success in your efforts. Sincerely, Rick McIver, Minister of Municipal Affairs. Take a motion to receive and file. Councillor Royal makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead.
Well, this is good news. So this allows us to move to the next step, and I'm looking forward to see us move ahead with this project, and I'm sure all of our partner municipalities, Town of Mundare, Village of Holden, County of Minburn, and us. That's it, right?
Well, we received a lot
excited.
of support for the County of Beaver, the County of Two Hills. Almost all the neighboring municipalities here are supporting it, and it is good news. I mean, it's a lot of work in front of us here, but this is the initial stage of getting this project going, and then we'll figure out how we're going to fund it and what it's going to look like and how many partners we can bring in on this. So it's exciting times. Everybody wants to know, where would you build it? They want to sell land already. Anyway, all those in favor? Do we already have that? I bet you I did already, right? Just a little excited about this, that's all. Okay, next up, we have a letter from the Minburn Foundation, the board chairman, which just happens to be Councillor Lemko.
Thank you, Your Worship. As the letter is quite long, I will summarize the contents and what the intent of the letter was. This letter was written to Jackie Armstrong-Homeniuk, the MLA for the Fort Saskatchewan and Vegreville constituency. And it was a letter written to update her on what the board is doing as we move forward with the expansion of our current facility. And it's looking for her advocacy to support us and assist us in getting the grant that's necessary to move this forward. In the letter, it talks about the lodge being built and started in 1961, and it was a supportive living model, which has been over decades. It's with assistance of the provincial government through the LAP grant funding, which is Lodge Assistant Program. In addition, of note is the municipal requisitions that are required to run the lodge. And those are from the County of Minburn, Town of Vegreville, Village of Manville, and also the Village of Industry. In February 23, the board retained the services of a consultant to provide us with a demand study, options analysis, and a business case report. Moving forward with that, we felt that there was we needed a strong commitment to ensure seniors in our communities have access to a safe, affordable housing. Recognizing the aging infrastructures and the changing dynamics within our catchment communities, we needed to identify a strategic example to examine and determine the needs in the future of the seniors that are in this area. With the baby boom, demographics are changing. We find our catchment area will have many seniors. The local area, according to the census in 21, was a record population of 9,960 people. So our catchment was that number. 30% of that catchment area has seniors ages 65 and plus, which means there's a lot of seniors in this community and the area that's going to require housing. So we felt it was a need for us to take our demand study and move forward with the phase one. We'll see additional 66 units, and which will retain 24 of the ones that were built in 2000, and then decommission the old lodge. And phase two will see an additional 30 units depending on the needs at the time for the community. In November 2023, this information is presented to elected officials and senior administration representing the 4 municipalities associated with the Minburn Foundation. Conditional letters of approval supporting this project have been received from 3 of those 4 municipalities. At the January 18, 2024 meeting, MD of Minburn Foundation members agreed to proceed with the next steps of the lodge redevelopment project. An RFP for procurement of a project manager for the Homestead Lodge expansion is currently active. So the RFP for the project manager has closed, shortlisted, and tomorrow the building committee of the board will interview 3 of the project managers and make a decision so we can move forward with this project. This project will take us to phase 2 and phase 3, which will be the blueprints, the design, and everything necessary to put the package together to move forward to for grant funding. The letter was initiated to inform our MLA of where we are, why we're here, and looking for advocacy. So that's the letter, Your Worship.
So we will, this letter and through our MLA, we'll be getting a hold of Minister Nixon's office with the requesting on the affordable housing program for seniors.
Yeah, for sure. The committee right now, as we all understand, there's a committee under Minister Nixon, senior housing, and they're having a discussion around what that looks like today, based on all the lodges and short, the many rooms available right now and why that is, and moving forward with seniors in the future, what that's going to look like. So we'll hopefully get an answer here soon, as it will probably have an impact on many of the senior lodges across Canada. I know Beaver Foundation is having a struggle with the senior lodges there, and they're looking at having the lodges with a higher level of care in that, because there's many residents that need that. So it's a whole big challenge that they have to come up with answers for this, and hopefully we'll get something and we can move forward. But our project's going ahead. At the end, we'll have a set of blueprints and engineered model that we can put to grant funding. And there's only so many dollars out there, and we really need our MLA to go to bat for us.
Okay. I forgot to get a motion to receive and file on that letter, so if somebody would make a motion. Mr. Bullock, Councillor Bullock makes the motion. All those in favor? Carry. Is there any more discussion on that letter? Okay, good job. Thank you very much. Next up, our last piece of correspondence is again from Minister McIver from Alberta Municipal Affairs, and we're going to pass this one over to Manager Newt.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm paraphrasing the letter a little bit. Dear Mayor McPhee, thank you for submitting your municipality's grant application under the 2024 Fire Services Training Program. I'm pleased to inform you that the town of Vegreville has been approved for a grant of $7,946 to carry out training that's outlined in the agreement. Through the Fire Services Training Program, the Government of Alberta provides $500,000 amongst eligible fire departments to offset the cost of training of their members. Municipal Affairs will be working with the Alberta Fire Chiefs Association to review the grant evaluation criteria and approve process for potential enhancements in future years. Thank you for your important work and dedication to the safety of individuals in your community. Sincerely, Rick McIver, Minister of Alberta Municipal Affairs.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion to receive and file. Councillor Curtis, all those in favor? Carry. So, Manager Newton, is this what you put in for? Was this the amount that you guys had applied for?
Yes, sir. We actually requested $10,000. This is the money that they came back to us. With that, we will be we'll be completing the NFPA 1001 Level 1, the 1051 Wildland Firefighter, and the NFPA 1041 Fire Services Instructor Level 1. This is a true testament of our training Deputy Chief, Steve Mervin, who put in for the application and was received and approved.
Okay. Any other comments? Councillor Lemko.
Yes, good job. Get more people trained. I have on a side note question. The government is now funding the MFR program, Medical First Responder. They put a grant, or they put $3.85 million in it, and it's to support 200 agencies across Alberta. I'm hoping we are one of those agencies. Is there any word on that program back to us from?
Yeah, yes, through your worship and to Councillor Lemko, we did actually receive $10,000 from the MFR program just recently, and that will include 2 trauma kits for our units, training for individuals in the MFR program to receive medical training, as well as a new AED that will be provided on the unit as well.
It's very good that they're recognizing the needs of the volunteer fire departments out there doing medical first response, and the fact that they're training and putting money forward is a great thing. So kudos to them and kudos to us.
So this funding that we're just talking about, this wasn't something we applied for. It was sent to municipalities for the purpose of paying some back when we are paying our firefighters to respond in a medical situation. We didn't apply for this. It's part of a program.
Both, Your Worship. We did receive additional funding for the program that was announced. They just provided us with that funding recently, and the other 2 we applied for when they had extra funds available. It was a off-the-cuff thing from the province of Alberta at the time. That was before the grant was actually announced.
So this will be income. This is we're going to be able to build a province for when we send out first responders when there's no ETS people available? Is that what we're understanding here?
No, Your Worship, it's an additional for equipment or training, but we can't bill out the province for responses. It's just to help offset the cost that if equipment is used in that aspect of things, we're getting money back from the province regarding that.
So it's going to help offset the cost of the town of Vegreville.
Excuse me, at this time when we are called out as medical first responders due to lack of ambulance or anything like that, we do not bill out for it. We do not get paid for it. So it is an expense to the town.
Okay. We have a chance through this. It's not really a grant because we didn't apply for this, right?
Some of it was not applied for, but it's also, some of it comes with stipulations that it's for purchasing or like purchasing equipment or training. So if we want the money, we have to abide by their guidelines that they put out.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Next up, CAO Ling.
All right, okay, before you is a request for council decision to approve the HR 4004 recruitment and selection policy. At the February 6th Legislative Committee meeting, administration presented the draft recruitment and selection policy to town council for introduction purposes. Council was given the opportunity to provide feedback and discuss the draft policy at the Ledge meeting held on February 20th. There have been no revisions to the policy since it was initially introduced to council. Administration has provided clarification to council's initial request, and given that council has not proposed any further questions to administration regarding the contents of the proposed policy since the last legislative committee meeting, administration is presenting HR 4004 recruitment and selection policy to council for approval. The financial implications: costs will be managed by completing recruitment and selection practices in-house by the hiring manager with the assistance from the HR payroll administrator. In accordance with section 7.4.1 of the draft policy, the use of any recruitment agencies or executive searches must be approved by town council. If requested by the hiring manager, the town will compensate a candidate for due diligence, including criminal record checks, vulnerable sector checks, driver's abstracts, etc. The new policy, if approved, will be communicated to all hiring managers, supervisors, and HR payroll administration for implementation. So the recommendation from administration is that town council approve the HR 4004 recruitment and selection policy as presented.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Curtis. We've all had a chance to go through this. Has anybody seen anything that they disapprove of?
No.
Go ahead, Councillor.
I just have a question, just because you're reading the policy request for council decision, and the policy is attached. For anybody that's watching, they may not be able to view all of those documents at the same time. So just to clarify, the title hiring manager and or hiring managers refers to any manager that is in supervisory capacity of other workers. Is that correct?
That's correct. The hiring manager specifically refers to the manager and or director of that specific department that is hiring the specific position.
Okay. No other comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And you have one more, CAO Ling.
Yes, so this is the deputy mayor appointment. At the organizational meeting held on October 25th, 2021, council decided that each councillor would serve as deputy mayor for a period of 4 months, twice in their 4-year term. Following the schedule presented at the organizational meeting, the next deputy mayor is to be Councillor David Barry. Recommendation is that Councillor David Barry be appointed Deputy Mayor for the term of February 27th, 2024 to June 24th, 2024.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
You're not the deputy mayor once you make that motion. Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion, say? Well, we better vote first. All those in favor? Carried. You don't want to do it?
Oh, I was wondering if she brought the torch to pass it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of work involved in that job. Okay, well, thank you for a good job, Councilor Rudick and Councilor Berry. Looking forward to working very closely with you on all things moving forward. Okay, next up, council reports, and we're going to start with Councilor Berry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mine's a fairly light one because I actually took some time off. So on February the 15th, Ag Society Board meeting, they're making a lot of plans for this summer for all of the events that they're going to be holding. And they're actually talking about possibly trying to organize a ball tournament as well out there. So there's going to be a lot of activity over the course of the summer with the Ag Society. On February the 16th, Council and MLA meeting and tonight's regular meeting. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Bullock.
Thank you, Your Worship. On February 14th, attended the joint council, county council and town council media training. Quite actually an eye-opener for a bit there to put you on the hot seat and start talking. So a lot of good pointers from that one. On February 15th, I virtually attended the Brownlee Emerging Trends in Municipal Law. Every year you learn something different from there and how the law changes and how it affects the decisions going forward. So really informative and good to hear what was being said there. February 16th, our meeting with MLA Jackie Armstrong-Homniuk. February 20th, I virtually attended our legislative committee meeting. I was just down with a cold, so I couldn't be in person for that one. Today, we had our FCSS advisory board meeting. So a couple of things that are coming up in March that FCSS will be doing a presentation to council coming up. So Manager Julie Gottsling will be presenting that. Another thing that came about was community development working together to reach the following community goals in early stage prevention, and brings us to what's coming up, our National Volunteer Week in April 14th to 20th. And they're hoping to create a volunteer development committee that will oversee this important aspect of our community, noticing of lack of committee members to assist with planning and delivery. SCSS capacity at the table's lead and assuming responsibility for the outcomes. So there has been a grant applied for, the Volunteer Canada grant. And as an update, FCS hosted a meeting to discuss the challenges and successes. That's what I got for this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilor Worba.
Thank you. I have obviously similar meetings to most of my colleagues, but to start off, I had a chamber policy meeting on the 13th, and I also on the 14th attended the joint council media training. On the 16th, plaque presentation, and I would just say about that, going to see our new accountant, it was nice to hear that they indicated that they are seeing people from outside the community. Anytime we have somebody coming in, no matter what they're stopping in for, it's a good opportunity to support other businesses in the town, so I appreciate being able to make that one. As well, the MLA Armstrong-Homniuk meeting. On the 19th, I was at the pancake breakfast, and once again, it was a really nice opportunity to see everybody. For once, the weather cooperated, which I'm sure the junior Bs particularly were probably happy about, given that they're on the outside, and I think they've had like minus 38 weather a couple times. So, but that looked good. Lots of people, as usual. Good time with the county as well. Always nice to see everybody, so that was great. And some really good artists that we got to listen to doing some of the performing, so that was exciting. On the 20th, I had the legislative meeting. On the 21st was our chamber AGM. So the one thing I was going to just mention about that is, unfortunately, I will bring a bigger update, but my last two chamber meetings have hit on the same night as my library board meetings. So I'm going to make sure that I bring a bigger library update, but needed to go to the chambers. We were doing a lot of policy and prep just prior to the AGM. On the chamber side, though, now that the AGM is completed and they have a lot of focus towards outreach with the businesses, and there's going to be some focus towards the planning and preparation of the 50th anniversary. So that was one of my additional meetings with the chamber manager, was talking about some granting opportunities, not only for the activities themselves, but also they're doing a lot of planning and putting away funds for what we know is inevitably some restoration of the egg. So that's another thing that's been worked on. And then today's council meeting.
Thank you very much. Councilor Rudick.
Well, it has been a busy couple weeks, so I'll try to keep my updates to those meetings that are different than my colleagues. February 14th, I attended the CAL's AGM and Community Association for Lasting Success. For those that are not familiar, offers a number of programs to families with children. I'll just list them off here. Little Explorers, which is a summer fun program for children 3 to 5 years old. They have the Head Start Early Education Program that is run through the preschool. Family Literacy Program. Community partners and volunteers in a variety of different operations, such as partnering with the library as well as other community groups. The Breakfast Club School Snack Program offered at all the elementary school, and the School Nutrition Program, which was previously funded and provided at all 4 schools, including the high school. So just to remind everybody or let them know that CAL's mission is to make a positive difference in children's lives by responding to the needs of families and fostering an environment for lifelong learning. The AGM was a great opportunity to be able to see some of the successes. And the specific example that they gave is augmentative alternative communication, which sounds very complicated, but for children that are nonverbal, using an iPad as a method to be able to communicate, and the drastic increase in their ability to communicate, and talking about the inclusion of students in that program and the long-lasting success. So some of us on this council will remember the early childhood program, Child Development Coalition, that was established between 3 ministries a number of years ago with the intention of bringing all children to meet their developmental cues and the long-term impacts of that. So basically being able to see the results of investing in children and the long-term impact. So great meeting, great group, a very full board, and I'm really happy to be there. Brownlee Emerging Trends Municipal Law Seminar on February 15th, a great opportunity to be able to meet with our colleagues in the municipal sector and be able to see what's happening across the province. A lot of chatter there about the recall that's happening currently with 3 municipalities across the province that we're aware of, but the further implications of things like petitions that were offered, or I guess not offered, demanded to be dealt with in Westlock. And so just for the public to be aware, there is a vigorous democratic process that happens every 4 years. And we would encourage anybody, I would encourage anybody to put your name forward and run for municipal office. The challenge with a petition, for example, puts the onus on overburdened municipal staff to try to verify who the people are that are signatories. It takes a great deal amount of money and time to receive potentially no impact or improvement in democracy. So very, very concerning trend that we're seeing with municipal governments. And again, a great opportunity to be able to speak with Brownlee group about some of the challenges that municipalities are facing across the province. February 16th, great to see another new business and chat with the folks at the new accounting firm. February 16th, meeting with MLA and chatting about a number of different issues, and happy to see that we had a response to all of our questions. And it has been the FCM board meetings the last week and a half. So we've been having virtual meetings, so there are a number of items on my agenda that refer to a variety of meetings ranging from our executive committee meeting, human resources, governance, as well as our Prairies and Territories Caucus meeting. I'm just going to bring attention to the fact that we have our in-person board meetings beginning of March, but I will say that some of our conversations and negotiations with the federal government about infrastructure funding in particular are concerning. So some of our advocacy voice will be amplified imminently, so stay tuned. We'll look forward to including all of the voices of us here in Vegreville to ensure that infrastructure and the investment in communities gets the attention it deserves. I'll just leave it at that. February 16th, we had MD Minburn Foundation meeting. There are a lot of things that we're doing to move along our project, like Chair Councillor Lemko referred to, and we will be holding an open house to encourage community members to be able to see what's happening at the lodge, have a better taste potentially of the food, but also what living there could mean for your loved ones. The average length of time that a senior lives in lodge housing is about 3 years. So there is some hesitation for folks to make the big move from their original home. And there's some statistics currently saying that given the demographics, the increase in wage in general has delayed the movement to senior housing by 5 years. So we're experiencing that here in Alberta. The lodge study that Councillor Lemko referred to is actually a timely examination at the same time that we're looking to renew and expand our operations at the lodge. So really happy that this board has the foresight to be able to plan for the future. And hopefully it's not too late for some of our local residents to reap that benefit. And 2 years from now, we'll be doing a groundbreaking for people that really deserve to have some quality accommodation. And all the other meetings, and happy to be here tonight.
Joined by your colleagues.
My colleagues.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you. Starting off February 14th, the council media training, which it was fun. Got to see the county councilors and do some in-person kind of interviews with a mock press, so it was good to kind of keep you on your toes. Our meeting with MLA Jackie Armstrong-Hominick. The pancake breakfast on the 19th, which was really good. Again, I talked about that at the last Ledge meeting. Then the Ledge meeting on the 20th. Tonight, FCSS meeting, and Councillor Bullock left me a few things to talk about. One of which is the men's shed project, which I had brought up the last meeting, the last council meeting when we had FCSS meeting as well. So it's kicked off, it's going. They got some grant money. They got some money that was given by the VEG Cares Coalition, as well as Alberta Healthy Aging. So the VEG Cares Coalition is a partner in this, as well as their major partner is the VEG Al Drug. And FCSS is kind of acting again like the banker, so helping facilitate, keeping the grant money, and making sure that it's divvied out as it's supposed to. Upcoming for this is March 13th. There's a lunch at the Seniors Sunshine Club, as well as there's a 6 p.m. supper at the Canadian Legion. So it's a positive environment where men can learn new skills, make new connections, and avoid isolation. Welcome to men of all ages. And there's a phone number here to call Gord, but there's you can get more information from the FCSS group if you feel like attending this. And it sounds like it's pretty good. It sounds like they're getting a lot of interest so far. Next up on my list, just some stats from Family Day. So FCSS has 16 partners that helped out with Family Day, so that's between agencies, nonprofits, etc. There was 15 different activities offered around town, 3 business and other sponsorships that helped with the day, including Town of Vegreville as well. They did have a bit of a challenge finding volunteers, which they always have, but it was still went off and was able to be successful in the town. And they noticed a lot of out-of-town people as well. They said that walking around, talking, asking questions, pushing their surveys, out to get some feedback, they found a lot of people out of town that had showed up. So that's also nice to see, people coming to visit our town. Again, our Meals on Wheels, as we're always looking for more drivers. I think they need 2 more drivers for Fridays and Mondays to bring their volunteer total up to around 30 people to do the deliveries for the month. And we had 492 go out last month. And I was a part of a few of those, and it's nice to drop the meals off and see some of the people and have a chat. And the last thing on my list is the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program is kicking off. But this year there's a bit of a spin on it. So collaboration with Vegreville Learning Society, they're hosting 2 self-help clinics this year. So the goal is that people that are able to do them on their own and may just need a little bit of help, this will empower them to be able to do it on their own going forward and reduce some of the amount of people coming through FCSS. So that's what I got.
Excellent, thank you very much. Councillor Lemko.
Thank you, Your Worship. February 14th, I attended the joint media training session with our County of Minburn. I'd like to thank CAOs Ling and Potter Barajny for getting this put together. It's always nice to sit in a room with our neighbors and share time and also be able to train a little bit and learn some stuff. 15th, I attended the Brownlee Emerging Trends in municipal law. I did that virtually. And one topic that really piqued my interest was the tax incentives, which is harnessing opportunities for growth and tax-based expansion. And the speaker on that talked about what municipalities could do to increase the opportunity to have businesses and through tax-based. And he talked about value-added ag processing and the incentives around 12% of a non-refundable tax credit if they invest greater than $10 million. It was interesting to hear that thing as talking about 2 municipalities and we're already that municipality. We're ready for ag-based. And I just thought it was very interesting as that's the initiative moving forward and we're already there. So it was good to listen to that. The 16th, I attended the plaque presentation at the McCube and Landry LLP, a firm that is set up in the close to where the bullpen used to be on that project there. So if you need anything, pay them a visit. And they look like a nice company to set up shop in our community. 16th was a meeting with MLA Hominiuk, opportunity to share our concerns, provide her with some information, and also ask her for gathering some information for us. So it was a great opportunity to do that. 16th was a MD of Minburn Foundation meeting, some more of the discussion on business of the lodge, but also moving forward with our program. February 24th, this past Saturday, was the 2nd anniversary of the war in Ukraine. Putin coming into a country to do the, I can't even say the words, but it was a candlelight vigil at the Cultural Association. It was well attended. One of the items that was there, the many Ukrainian families that are there with their kids and all that, and they were able to virtually connect on a screen and communicate with a soldier on the front line. Be able to ask questions of this individual, and the questions asked were just straightforward questions about what's it like, what are some of your downfalls or that kind of stuff. And one thing that hit me was he felt, the frontline soldier felt the difficulty of not being able to take the fallen soldiers home to their families. And the other questions were asked of this individual, and he spoke highly of Canada and of all those communities that were taking the Ukrainians that were able to leave. It was very moving, tear-jerking testimony. We also heard from a young girl in high school in Vegreville. Her testimony was that of what happened when the invasion came is they were on the border. They lived in a border town, and she heard the helicopters coming over, and they were tree-topping, and the bombs and the sounds and all that. And she talked about that. Well, Canada is her home now. She doesn't think she can ever go back. That family lives in our community. She goes to school in there. So it was a very, very nice evening where we could share with our Ukrainian families and the war that's going on there. We need to support. And they also talked about, the soldier on the front line talked about receiving donations from our community and the money going right to the front line where they're buying stuff they need right there on the front line, medical supplies and food and such. So that's what's happening. Your Worship, tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. So on the 14th, I also attended the County of Minburn, Town of Vegreville joint media training session, and I thought it was good, and just to get a few little pointers on how to handle media and when to say something and when not to. Hopefully I'll be able to apply some of that moving forward. On the 15th, Brownlee Emerging Trends in Law, and well, there was a lot to take away, but what I really noticed was, you know, through the MGA, we were given certain protection as a municipality on maintenance on roads and on our barricades and stuff. But we're seeing some of this being challenged, and some of the case law that's been in place for a long time, and when it goes to appeal, is being challenged a bit. So I think we had better find out exactly what the outcomes and what that means for municipalities if judges today are looking at things in a different way. So we should be able to get out in front of this. I mean, case law is always represented by a precedent decision, and now some of those decisions in the past are being overturned, and it's something we do every day. We have machinery, we have barricades, we have stuff out all the time. So there was a lot of good information we got at that session, and again, it's always worthwhile going to. On the 16th, the plaque day with the new accounting office, our meeting with our MLA, I think she has followed up with some of the request up to now, and it was a good meeting. There's no doubt about that, and hopefully we can start having more of those. Family Day was a very big success for the breakfast. I want to thank all the staff and everybody that helped out, and the county and the staff members from the county and FCSS for putting it all together. And I also want to thank Tim Hortons. Again, they stepped up and supplied all the coffee and stuff again, and I'd like to get a letter off from Mayor and Council thanking them for their support, continued support in this community. And I don't know if you guys drive by Tim Hortons on Family Day in the morning, but there's really not a lot of people there. But again, it's Colleen and her staff do they know that it's community building, and really want to thank them for that. The Ledge meeting on the 20th. On the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, myself and Jameson attended the Alberta Hemp Alliance Conference in Edmonton, and there was a lot of positive stuff that we've seen there. There was a few announcements about some stuff that's taking place in Elk Point, some businesses in the hemp industry that we've known for quite a while, and they have made some deals with the town of Elk Point, the indigenous community of Frog Lake, and the businesses themselves. And there was a lot of conversation about the industry. Minister R.J. Sigerson, the ag minister, was there, and we also got to talk to lots of different companies that are known to us and still showing some interest in the park right now. We did talk to a local artist out of Edmonton that has been molding some statue-like stuff out of hemp and hempcrete and stuff. And beautiful work he does. So we're hoping that maybe we might be able to jump in front of this new statue that's going down at the egg. And if they want to make it out of fiberglass, he can work with part fiberglass and lots of hemp in the mold. And so we got his card, and a very nice young man. And again, it's just another use of hemp that, you know, that you can mix it with almost anything and make things stronger. So there was a lot of talk from the minister's office about Smart Ag, and we know what the premier had said 2 days earlier, that this last kick at oil and gas that we're going to be seeing now, and we need to really diversify our economy. And one way that Alberta is going to do that is through agriculture and value-added products that are going to come from our ag. So we're looking forward to working with the province on that. And then tonight's council meeting. So that's all I got. Does anybody else have any other business of council? Go ahead.
Sorry, this, your worship, just came through Councillor Curtis's report. I think it's just something that we're going to need to continue to advocate on. It concerns me a little bit. You were talking about the volunteer income tax program. And, you know, it's very difficult to get volunteers. And this is a program that has done a very good job, brought in outside people to help. It's supposed to be a program that's there to particularly help vulnerable, low-income people with their tax returns. And the concern that I have is I see 3 federal changes that I think is going to make it a lot harder for volunteer programs going forward. As we know, last year they had already imposed the underused housing form, which was a big one. It was one that was driving a lot of people. And I know primarily when we look at the returns that are done through the FCSS, a lot of it is seniors, but it doesn't mean that those seniors aren't sometimes still in some way owning property or having property. The underused housing tax that they brought in was quite a difficult form. And quite frankly, people were having to take it to their to their accountants. In some cases, it was costing several $100s. So I see that form having been added, the new trust form as well, where some people had, you know, a family member on even their residential property, they're being hit by that. And now the one that we're hearing about the most in my work is the fact that some of the changes over with the way the GST remittance has to happen, and that they're not giving a lot of options for them to be done through paper, everything needing to be done online. I just, you know, I kind of feel for programs like the one being done through the FCSS, because it's going to be a lot harder to ask volunteers to take part in some of these more, you know, onerous type of returns, and it might limit the ones that they can do. So I guess I just wanted to state that, like, going forward, I think we keep pushing, but on a federal level, I hope that they start to consider the fact that as more and more services are being downloaded on municipalities, it's becoming even harder for people to make ends meet. That's one of the reasons why we're lucky to have this program that's helping people out. And it is disappointing to see sometimes the process being made even more difficult. So I guess that's the only thing. And I could see that potentially being something they face this year. So it would be interesting to maybe ask the question after they're done this year, whether of the people that came to them, if there was very many that required that additional form. And then maybe that's an advocacy piece to the federal government, because I do think it's going to be a little bit of a strain for some people. That's all.
Okay. CAO Ling, is that it? You got anything else?
No, we're good here.
Okay, well then I adjourn this meeting at 8:05.